I thought our family tradition was normal. Now I know it wasn't even close to that. Every Sunday at exactly 6 p.m., my grandfather would call me down to his basement. 3 knocks on the door, always 3, never more, never less. He'd count them out loud from the other side, his voice muffled through the thick wood. 1, 2, 3, good boy, Wesley. Then the lock would click, and I'd hear his footsteps retreating down the stairs. I'd wait exactly 10 seconds before opening the door, another rule he'd drilled into me since I was 7 years old. The basement smelled like old books and something metallic I could never quite identify, and Grandpa would be sitting in his leather chair with 2 cups of hot chocolate waiting on the small table between us. We'd talk for exactly 1 hour, about school, about sports, about anything except why we had this tradition in the first place. When the alarm on his watch beeped, our time was up. I'd climb the stairs, pull the door shut behind me, and hear the lock engage immediately. For 11 years, this was just what we did. My parents never questioned it, never joined us, never even asked what we talked about down there. It was Grandpa and Wesley time, sacred and unbreakable, every single Sunday without fail. My little sister Autumn asked about it once when she was maybe 6 years old. Why does Wesley get special Grandpa time and I don't? Mom's face went tight, and she steered Autumn into the kitchen, muttering something about how every family has their own ways of doing things. Dad didn't even look up from his newspaper, but I saw his hands grip the pages tighter, knuckles going white. Grandpa had been living with us since Grandma died when I was 3, taking over the entire basement as his personal space. Nobody else went down there, ever. Mom would leave his laundry at the top of the stairs in a basket, and it would be gone by morning, replaced by the previous week's clean clothes folded with military precision. Once, when I was 9, I tried to sneak down on a Wednesday afternoon, curious about what Grandpa did down there when we weren't having our Sunday sessions. The door was locked, obviously, but I pressed my ear against it anyway. Complete silence. Not even the sound of movement or breathing. I'd knocked experimentally, 3 times like I'd been taught, but nothing happened. I'd gone to find Grandpa and discovered him in the backyard, tending to his garden. When I asked him about the locked basement, he'd smiled and ruffled my hair. That's my private space, Wesley. A man needs his sanctuary. The tradition continued through my childhood without incident. So routine, it became invisible. 3 knocks, 10-second wait, 1 hour of conversation, alarm beeps, leave. My friends thought it was weird that I couldn't hang out Sunday evenings, but I just shrugged it off as family stuff. By the time I was in high school, I'd stopped thinking about it altogether. Grandpa never missed one, even when he had the flu so bad he could barely stand. Even when I had the flu, Mom still sent me down there with a box of tissues. Grandpa is expecting you, Wesley. You know how he gets if the routine is disrupted. I didn't actually know how he got, because in 11 years, we'd never disrupted the routine. Not once. Not even when Aunt Patricia died and the funeral was on a Sunday evening. We'd left the service early so I could make it home by 6 p.m. My parents sitting stone-faced in the front seat, while Autumn cried in the back. Nobody complained about leaving early. We just left, because the tradition demanded it. Everything changed 3 weeks ago on my 18th birthday. It was a Sunday, naturally, and my birthday party had been scheduled for the afternoon to avoid conflicting with my 6 p.m. basement appointment. My girlfriend Iris had brought over a cake, and everything felt good and normal. Then 5:45 rolled around, and everyone started packing up because they all knew about the standing Sunday commitment. Iris kissed me goodbye and whispered, "Hope your grandpa tradition thing goes well." I headed to the basement door at 5:58, giving myself the usual 2 minutes to get into position. I raised my hand to knock at exactly 6 p.m. 3 sharp raps like always, but something made me hesitate. 18 felt different somehow, like maybe I was too old for this now. So instead of 3 knocks, I only knocked twice. The silence that followed was absolute and terrifying. No counting from the other side, no acknowledgement at all, just a horrible, heavy quiet that made my skin crawl. Then Grandpa's voice came through the door, but it didn't sound like him at all. The words were stretched and wrong, like someone imitating human speech without quite understanding how it worked. "Wrong number, Wesley. Wrong number of knocks. 3. Always 3. You know the rules." I felt ice shoot down my spine because that voice wasn't natural, wasn't right, wasn't human. I should have run. Every instinct screamed at me to turn around and get away from that door, but I'd been trained for 11 years to follow the routine, and breaking it felt impossible. My hand moved on its own, knocking 3 times properly this time, and immediately I heard the lock click open. 1, 2, 3. Good boy, Wesley. The voice was back to normal now, warm and familiar, exactly as it always sounded, but I'd heard the other thing underneath, and I couldn't unhear it. I counted to 10 like always, my heart slamming against my ribs, and then I opened the door. The basement stairs stretched down into darkness because the light was off, which had never happened before in 11 years of Sunday meetings. "Grandpa?" My voice cracked. "Come down, Wesley. We need to talk." The rest of the story is linked below or on my channel.